Hey, Jeff, what's up there, Mr. Man? Uh-oh.
Hey,
How's it going there, Mr. Man?
how are you, man? What's up?
Oh, nada. It's you, man.
Is
So
this vertical thing gonna work okay for you?
that's fine. It
Cool.
works.
Now we are doing video, right?
We are.
Cool. All right, great.
And so you survived COVID and everything?
Well, we it keeps jumping around.
But I tell you, man, I've been reading up on you and everything. You've been one of my Nitty Gritty Dirt bands, been one of the fun bands for me for years and years. But the more I read about you, it's amazing how one person, could do as much as you've done. I mean, things like going being the first band the Soviet Union allowed to tour in Russia. That's amazing.
Well, it was crazy. Yeah, that's back in 1977. Because we were considered a rock band in '77, and I think there had been a Grand Ole Opry tour that had been there a few years earlier with Roy Clark and some other folks. But yep, that was fascinating. We were there for almost a month. It's cool.
I bet you security was all over you, weren't they?
Yeah, we got followed. We had a tail, as they say, the KGB was everywhere. You walk out the front door and boom, they're right there. Who's the guy in the trench coat behind you,
But I mean, just think, you went from, you did that, which was very, very cool, to being on King Tut on Saturday Night Live. Man, I mean, what a variance there.
Yeah, that was, well, Steve Martin was, he was an old friend of ours, and he had played, he was our opening act for years until he just totally exploded and became, he was almost a regular on SNL. They loved him there. So he was hosting a show and asked us to come do that. I actually played, me and two of the guys from our band, our rhythm section at the time, Richard Hathaway on bass and Merle Brigani on drums. The three of us cut that track live with Steve at a studio in Colorado where we recorded, in Aspen, Colorado.
Do you still do work with Steve Martin?
I don't much. We see him now and again. He cruises. I live in Nashville now, and he cruises through here now and again. He's a really cool guy like Steve. Yeah.
So how did Nitty Gritty Dirt Band actually, because everybody, I know you've been asked that a million times, but how did it actually start?
Well, we were a bunch of teenagers living in Southern California. We lived in a town called Long Beach, and we were just bored. We were all big fans of what we call roots music now, folk music, really, bluegrass and blues, some ragtime as well. And we started a jug band, which if you're familiar or you're not with the genre, it's basically acoustic instruments, like mandolins, guitars, sometimes a little banjo, but washboard and washtub bass for a rhythm section. So we did that and we got started and we got a following in Southern California, these little clubs we were playing. And it was cool, man. We got a record deal, got on the radio, thought that was easy.
Where were you at the first time you heard yourself on the radio?
Driving down the street somewhere. I was probably, let's see, we had just moved from Long Beach up to Hollywood. We all had like these little crash pad kind of apartments around the Hollywood Hills, which would now be like millions of dollars, I might add, but they were in the hundreds back then. I just remember hearing that, and we heard it all the time. This song called Buy For Me the Rain, which a lot of our fans probably wouldn't be familiar with because they're not as old as we are, came out in 1967, and they played it. We were on the charts with like the Doors and the Buffalo Springfield, that era.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. And we were playing shows with both those bands, I might add. Our little jug band would go play a gig with the Doors or, again, the Springfield or the Jefferson Airplane. It's crazy times.
Now, for me, a jug band, I lived in the sticks. A jug band was a bunch of drunken guys at a hoot nanny trying to play guitars and stuff. That was a jug band back then.
Well, the one The one fact, the drunken part, I will, it depends on the evening. The one thing that does sort of land for me there is that it was really fun. And so we were 6 guys that all play guitar. So like, well, let's have a band. Okay, well, who's going to put the guitar down? Okay, I'll play the washboard. Now, my buddy Jimmy Fadden, who's really plays guitar and harmonica really well, he said, I'll play bass. I'll play the washtub bass. And these are like kitchen instruments. And it's just a lot of fun. Everybody just kind of bangs along. It's just really great music. And its roots really were in Memphis. The Memphis Jug Band was one of the great jug bands, and Gus Cannon and the Jug Stompers also. This is in the 20s. Killer music, really, really serious, but it's also really joyful. That's what I love about that.
Well, I mean, one of the songs that, you were just mesmerized by is Mr. Bojangles.
Yeah.
I mean, I heard that in New Orleans, they passed an ordinance that they couldn't play that because it's being played so much.
I love that.
So that was a great song. That's one of my favorite songs you guys do. I know you guys done many, many songs, but I guess I'm just one of the millions that love that song.
Oh man, well, Bojangles I think it's an American classic. The late great Jerry Jeff Walker, our old buddy Jerry Jeff, wrote that tune based on an experience he had in a jail cell. He got arrested for drunk and disorderly down in New Orleans. Ended up in a cell with this old guy, and the guy wasn't Bill Bojangles Robinson, I might add. It was just this street performer. A lot of them would grab a moniker because they all idolized Bill Robinson. So this guy told Jerry Jeff his story, and he remembered it enough to write it down and make it into this amazing work of art, I think. Wonderful song.
So you can't do a concert without playing that, right?
Nope.
Of all the music you've done like what, 380 or more than that in different songs. What's the one song that you like the best? Not the one that the most financially hit, but the one that you like playing and you like the best.
Oh man, not to cruise right into plug the new album land.
But you're gonna do it anyway. Go ahead.
I know. The newer songs are always the most fun for us because we haven't played them as much. Although we never get tired of playing "Will the Circle Be Unbroken" or "Mr. Bojangles" or this country hit "Fishing in the Dark" that we had several years ago as well. Those are the 3 can't leave the building without playing them, I might add. But oh man, there's so many. Gosh, I love Jimmy Fadden's tune, "Working Man" it's called. All of it. This is one of those. I'll think of it later.
Now, you played with just about everybody, Johnny Cash, everybody.
I got a tune for you.
Okay, go ahead.
It might be "Rippling Waters," which is a tune. It was an album cut, and it was written by our old bandmate Jimmy Ibbotson. Wrote it back in the 70s. We had all moved from California. In 1971, we moved from California to Colorado. So that was our "Rippling Waters" was kind of our mountain song. And man, it's a beautiful piece of music that Ibby wrote, but we've turned it into this kind of 10-minute extended jam thing where most of the guys, well, all of the guys in the band get a chance to step out and really stretch instrumentally. That's a really fun song in that regard for us because you can play something different every night, and it's a great framework. It's a gorgeous song. And I love the fact that our fans love it, and it's an album cut. It's just one of those, it's kind of natural for your fans to be drawn to the radio hits, but that tune wasn't. But it's definitely a Dirt Band classic, and I dig it. That's my favorite, I have to say.
I know you said the Dirt Band. Now you have the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, then you have the Dirt Band. So
that was just a flawed fitting thing that happened with us. Well, here's the thing, here's 3 examples. The Grateful Dead, you call them the Dead. The Rolling Stones, call them the Stones. Well, our fans would always call us the Dirt Band, most of them. So around 1970, I don't know, around the time we went to Russia, 76, I think it was, that we did this, made this change. We thought, well, let's just call ourselves the Dirt Band, just for, giggles. And we made three or four albums with that moniker. Still the same band. The music styles changed a little bit, but that was a coincidence. It wasn't like we wanted to be these other guys and be called the Dirt Band. But and back in between 76 and 82, we were called the Dirt Band. And then in 82, we changed it back because I remember getting on an airplane and somebody, invariably as flight attendant would say, "Are you guys a band?" And we go, "Yeah." And what's your band called? We go, "Oh, Dirt Band." And then, "Oh, Nitty Gritty Dirt Band?" So boom, giving out. Oops. But the funny thing is we had two big hits as the Dirt Band. We had American Dream, which was a duet with us and Linda Ronstadt. Mm-hmm. And then a song called Make a Little Magic with the late, great Nicolette Larson as well. So
that's outstanding. That one there is. Now, you're mentioning some of those artists. Now, of all the artists you played with, like the Cash, all that, who's the one person you say, man, that was my bucket list filled up right there by playing with this person?
Well, I mean, honest, that's almost impossible to say because Will the Circle Be Unbroken albums. Of course, if you add the duet stuff that we've done with folks, I mean, I'm a lucky guy. I've gotten to sing with Linda Ronstadt, Nicolette Larson, my wife, Matresa Berg, who's a great singer-songwriter, Carla Bonoff, this wonderful singer, Rosemary Butler, that sang, she's the one that goes, "Oh, won't you stay," on the Jackson Browne, on the Loadout. She's amazing. All these great singers that we've gotten to sing. Kenny Loggins, got to sing Kenny Loggins years ago. Those are all outside of the Circle records. But as a fan guy, man, singing with Johnny Cash and the Carter family and Doc Watson and getting to play with Earl Scruggs and I mean, that's the stuff. Willie Nelson, of course, the Del McCoury band. God, Tom Petty sat in and sang a song with us.
Holy cow.
On the third Circle record. So, man, we're just really lucky. I mean, that's the one thing that the overriding thing for me is really we're so fortunate, man.
I tell you, I mean, you seem like you did a charmed life. I don't know how one person could do all that you did. What was it like when you accepted a Grammy?
Well, that's another thing. I mean, I never thought. I should say, by the way, you say one person, it's we for sure.
Correct.
And in fact, my brother Jimmy Fadden, who's our drummer and harmonica player, the two of us been there together since we were teenagers in '66. So I got to definitely keep him in the equation. And Bob Carpenter's been with us for many years. The Grammy. Never thought we'd get a Grammy. When we did Will the Circle Be Unbroken Volume 2 back in '89 at the 1990 Grammys, because they do the year before. That album won 3 Grammys. We were just blown away. That was really amazing. The Grammy, I look at the Grammy like the Oscars, it's kind of the music.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Right? So pretty big deal. A few years later, we got another one, I got one as a songwriter back in the early part of this century, separate from the band, just for, I wrote this song called Bless the Broken Road that was a big country hit and one country song of the year. Wrote that with my friend Marcus Hummon.
Where do you keep them? In the garage.
I had no, they're on the piano. We got a little baby grand piano and they sit up there, work again, we got a little kind of trophy case, as it were. But I've got friends, not to drop names, but my buddy Vince Gill, who we've also recorded with, gotta love Vinny. It lines a whole wall, basically. I think Vince is the most awarded male singer in the history of the Grammys. He's got 20 some odd. So I don't think you ever take that for granted, certainly. And it's it's a high compliment. It's your peers. It's a pretty cool thing.
Now you've had all this success, right? Now, if you look back and you had to change one thing, would there be anything that you would change if you could?
I don't, I really don't think so. I mean, you got to kind of, there's our band. Let me just put it this way: our band has had peaks and valleys like all artists do, but for us, it's more like hills and gentle slope back down into the valley and back up the hill. We've never fallen off a cliff in terms of our popularity. We've been really lucky that right from the jump, right from the jug band days all the way through the country rock stuff and where we are now, which is a lot like that 70s music. We've had this fan base, man. These people show up and they buy our records or they stream our records, however they're getting the music these days. But it's because of them that we're still able to do this. And I think certainly a high value that we put on everything is being able to go out and play live. We're so fortunate that, even though we're getting up there, we can still get out there on the road and play. And it's still fun.
So what is the updates for you right now? I mean, is there a book in the writing? I mean, with all that history, you think you'd be writing a book?
Well, I think that's something I'd like to do for sure. We, one of our bandmates, John McEwen, who hasn't played with us in a few years, he's got a book coming out about Will the Circle Be Unbroken. It's strictly about that project in 1971. That's really cool. In fact, the guys that were on that album, myself and Jimmy Fadden and Les Thompson, Jimmy Ibbotson, all of us contributed essays to the book. But that's about one period of time, essentially, the late 60s through 71 or 2. It's all up here right now, but there's a point where all kidding aside, it's, I can still remember this stuff, I think it would be a cool thing to do. I'm a fan of memoir. I like to read, period, mostly fiction, but memoirs fascinate me. I just finished this book about the Allman Brothers called One Way Out that I really enjoyed. Music stuff's always fascinating for me.
Yeah, I think that'd be a great book. It'd be like the Birds and Beyond book. That was a great book by the Birds, about the birds. Now, what's on the future for you guys?
Well, we just did this Dylan record, and we're out there touring behind that. We'll probably get back in the studio late in the winter, early next year, and start on something new. It's just like, keep going, man. That's our kind of our mantra right now. It's just, again, we love to play. And I think because of lockdown, people are I don't think audiences have been more responsive or receptive than they are now. People I think the value of live music has never been higher in terms of people's emotional health.
Now, if people want to find out what's going on with you, what's the best way they can find out information about it? I
think you can go to our Facebook or Instagram page. We're at Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, I guess, on both those. Or nittygritty.com is our website. That's got all the tour schedule and stuff. And, little bits and pieces, the current videos or whatever. We try to, we try to keep it current so folks know where we're going and where we're not going. Well,
one thing with you guys, you didn't have the reputation of, trash in hotels, throwing TVs out the window. You just never hear of that about the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band.
Well, I don't think the hotels we stayed in had television. No, I'm kidding. No, that's not really our thing. I think we look like all the bands that came up, the old joke about if you can remember the 70s, you weren't there, that deal. So we definitely had our boogie woogie years for sure when we were kids, but there comes a time where if you want to keep doing this, you kind of got to remain as healthy as you can to get through it. But I love reading about Keith Moon and Joe Walsh for the champ.
Yeah, Joe Walsh is he cracks me up when he said when he sobered up, he said that was the scaredest he's ever been his whole career. He's never been on stage when he wasn't high.
Right, and then he came. I think it was that Eagles tour. The Joe is I have the greatest respect for him. You know, that's not an easy thing that he did there, and I'm so glad he did because it probably saved his life certainly. And he's a remarkably talented guy. I think sometimes because he's so funny. I mean, he's like the wittiest guy ever, right? People might take a second and overlook how great a guitar player and how great a singer and writer he is. We played our band. I'm really proud of this fact. Our band's in the Colorado Music Hall of Fame, and we played an event honoring Dan Fogelberg a few years ago when Dan was posthumously inducted. And on that show, Joe was on the show because, you know, he produced Dan's first or second album. I can't remember which one, but they were really tight. And Barnstorm, Joe Walsh and Barnstorm were also inducted into the Hall of Fame that night in Colorado. Man, I stood side stage and watched his set, and it was just, and this is, you know, not with the Eagles, but just Joe Walsh solo again. And his band, killer musicians. It blew me away. You know, when he starts Rocky Mountain Way, it's like the people are like, you know.
That's what they said when he joined the Eagles. They said, now we finally have a rock guitarist.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that and the guy that he replaced, Bernie Ledden, who's one of my favorite people in the world, and actually, you know, original member of the Eagles, played in our band for a couple of years. He's brilliant, but Bernie leans a little more towards the country side of things. And when Joe and Don Felder were in that band together, it was ridiculous. I mean, that the power of those two guitarists, you know, in the current lineup, Vince Gill is no slouch, man. One of the best guitarists I've ever been around or seen. And Stuart Smith, who's the third guitar player in that band, they create quite a massive wall of guitar wonderfulness, those guys. But sure, I mean, if you've seen an Eagles show, you know, it's all great. You're loving it. And then Joe does his little solo bits in there and plays Funk 49 and Walk Away and Life's Been Good and Rocky Mountain Way. It's just, again, it takes it up a notch. Pretty great.
I tell you, this has been pretty great being with you. I mean, you're fantastic, man. I mean, now before we let you go, we always ask. Now, when you got into, you know, this music business, did you get into it for money? Did you get into it for women, or did you get in for the love of music?
All of the above. The bonus was the money. I mean, this giant cliche, you know, you've heard it before. They don't pay us to play music. They pay us to travel, right? So, you know, the 22 hours that you're not on stage, that's where you're getting paid for, to, you know, leave your homes, go out on the road, and it can get pretty dicey out there. You're not getting enough sleep. You're not eating well. The weather can be crazy. The bus is breaking down, all this, like blah, 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 blah. It's unglamorous. Let's just put it that way. But when you hit that stage, it's a whole nother deal. It's like, that's really fun. Now, honestly, I mean, we're teenagers. We got into it for the fun and, you know, like I said, all the above, and getting to do it as a vocation was like, wow, we're going to be able to do this. This will be, what a great job. Lucky us.
Oh, your dog. He's in too.
So we know that this is not coming from a studio somewhere.
But I really appreciate you coming on. I mean, this has been great. I mean, you're one of my favorite bands, and we've interviewed Vince Gill. We've done all these people too. But you're so down to earth. It's amazing.
Thank you so much, Ray. I appreciate it, man. So
go ahead.
Remember, Dirt Does Dylan is the current record.
Is a dog in it?
No, what?
Is a dog in it too? Your dog?
Oh, Bojangles, you know. No, she didn't make the cut on that one.
Okay. But hey, man, I really appreciate you coming on. It's been great, and everybody needs to tune in for your next adventures. And stay with that book.
Thanks, man. I'll do that. Hey, are you in Arkansas? Are you in Little Rock? Where are you?
We are Arkansas, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll be heading over there sooner or later. Look out for us.
Well, when you come over, give me a holler, and we'll take you out for some of the best barbecue. It's on you, but we'll take you out for the best barbecue.
Well, when I eat barbecue, it's on me anyways.
Yeah, we look forward to that. Just give me a holler, and we'll take you out.
You man, taste, buddy.
Okay, you take care, Mr. Man.
Well,
okay, let's see if I can figure out how to turn this off.
is it Ray?
It's Roy.
Oh God, I called you Ray 3 times, dude.
It's okay. I didn't say anything. Hey, you, Mr.
No, I read it because my readers are tiny. It says Roy right there. I'm sorry, bro.
It's okay. But anyway, you take care, Jeff, and this has been amazing.
Thanks, buddy. Later, Roy.
Okay, man, take care.
Buddy.
All right, there we have it. Jeff Hanna. I mean, is that great? The Nitty Gritty Dirt Band has been around forever. The guy's like 75. Even you can't see it by looking at him. And I mean, they were the first band, Soviet Union let them tour in Russia. They had like 140 some thousand people at their concerts. And I mean, they've been around forever. He's a multi-Grammy award winner. The guy's just amazing and really down to earth. I really appreciate that. But anyway, that's it for now. This is ArkansasShowcaseRadio.com, and this is Roy Doyle. And stay tuned and check us out. We got some more interviews coming up, and we'll be there bringing it just for you. Okay, so take care, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye.
Later, man.
Okay, take care.
See you, bud.